Price has been forced to take off the Australian flag in Parliament on National Flag Day after a complaint from a Greens senator. The senator, Senator Price that is, was calling for the burning of the Australian flag to be criminalised when she was interrupted by the Greens Senator Nick McKim. The Shadow Defence Industry Minister, we're back to Price now, was then ordered to remove the flag due to a standing order which doesn't allow props.
If it's okay for Senator Nampijinpa Price to wrap herself in this flag, I would intend to wrap myself in a Palestinian flag.
The senator has criticised the interjection, arguing that props have been used in the Senate multiple times before.
You can wear a kippah in here. Perhaps you should remove that article from you whenever you walk through these chambers for the benefit of all Australians in this country. Yes, snark all you like. It's revolting. You don't love this country the way I do, certainly not like most Australians do.
Yeah, certainly got people talking, and let's continue the chat now. Joining us live is our Thursday panel, Deputy Nationals leader Kevin Hogan, the Greens Senator Sarah Hanson-Young. Sarah, I'll start with you because you're fond of a stunt on the Senate floor. We've seen that in the past. If we can just remind our viewers of a recent one. Where's the fish? There it is. We got the fish. It's coming in a moment. There we go, folks. Sarah, did you take any issue with Jacinda's display of our national flag on Flag Day?
Well, look, Pete, I love a prop as much as the next person or the next MP or senator. I'm a big, I understand the power of using a prop. They are, however, against the standing orders, and we all, everyone knows that when you bring a prop in, you risk being told to have it removed or to leave the chamber, which of course that's what happened with the dead fish, but it did make its point. The question here is whether the flag itself is a prop. I think, you can use items in different ways, and was it being used as a prop? Look, the Senate standing orders are clear about props, but I think there is a question mark over the use of a flag as a prop. That now has been referred to what is called the Procedures Committee, which will discuss the issue and recommend what the standing orders should be. So it's, yes, props are against the standing orders. People use them. The question is the flag being used as a prop?
I mean, did you take issue with it? I mean, it's the national flag. Is it really a prop? It's the national flag on Flag Day in our national parliament. I mean, what's the big deal?
Look, I can absolutely understand that it is our national flag, and whether it's the Australian flag or the use of the Indigenous flag, which also is very important and stands proudly on the floor of our chamber as well. So it's not as if there's no flags in the chamber. There are. It's the use of it. And I guess that's why it was called to the attention of the President to make a ruling on that. The President has now referred that to the Procedures Committee. I, for one, Pete, am lucky enough to be on the Procedures Committee. So at some point we'll be discussing that and we'll come back to it. But I just want to say one other thing, though. What I've felt extremely disturbed about this week in relation to the flag is the use of the flag by self-prescribed neo-Nazis over the weekend. I think that brought shame on our national flag, and I'm a senator who has both the Australian flag and the Indigenous flag hanging proudly in my office. I think they do represent the unity of this country, and I'm disgusted and appalled and sadly heartbroken by the use of the flag for hate and division.
Okay, yeah, okay, fair enough. That's fair enough. So in that same argument, do you condemn the pro-Palestinian protesters who burn the Australian flag?
Look, I think the destruction of flags has a long history in political protest. I'm not going to,
But you'd condemn that too, wouldn't you? There is a freedom of use. My point is what you're associating our national flag with, and I don't believe our national flag should be or needs to be associated with neo-Nazis. Okay, I don't, I think that should be condemned. But a pro-Palestinian march is able to burn it?
Well, I think the use of political expression is something, and the freedom of political expression is something that is dear to democracy. So whether it's the destruction of the Australian flag
but
or any other
isn't that
flag,
point you're trying to make there one for one and then something separate for another?
No, because I'm not talking about the destruction of the flag. I'm talking about people who wave the flag in the name of neo-Nazi and division in this country. That is un-Australian. OK.
Kevin, what do you make of all that? Thanks for being patient.
Well, Pete, I think what yesterday highlighted, and I won't speak for Sarah, but there are obviously some Green senators who don't like the Australian flag. I mean, Senator McKim basically said in the Parliament yesterday that he'd wear the Palestinian flag, not the Australian flag in the Parliament. We've had Senator Faruqi who's worn a Palestinian kiffa into the Parliament. Is that a prop if we're not allowed to wear the Australian flag? Remember, Adam Bant wouldn't stand in front of the Australian flag. So, you know, a lot of Green senators do not like Australia or do not like Australia, the Australian flag. The fact that Sarah just then couldn't say bluntly the Australian flag should never be burnt, even in a peaceful protest, is not OK. Didn't mention the inappropriateness also of the fact that the Palestinian protester had the ISIS flag that was flying, that is a terrorist organisation. So what I think we saw yesterday again is from some Green senators who do not like the Australian flag and what it represents. And I think that's a great shame to the Parliament.
I had
Guy
that
Lee,
point.
Remember, Pete, in the lower house, wears an Australian flag as a dress.
Yeah. I did find that curious too, Sarah, that Nick McKim would rather wear the Palestinian or use the Palestinian flag rather than the Australian flag in the Australian Parliament. I mean, doesn't that question his patriotism?
I think it was more a rhetorical debating point about the use of the use of a flag as a prop. That if Nick McKim had come in wearing a Palestinian flag, it would have been called out as a prop. I think that was the point he was making. I don't question at all Nick McKim's patriotism. He loves this country. He defends our environment. He defends our right to freedom of expression and democracy, and he's a good senator for Tasmania.
Just doesn't like our flag, obviously, and no one called out Senator Faruqi when she was wearing the Palestinian kiffa in Parliament. Adam Bant refused to stand in front of the Australian flag. Many Greens are ashamed of the Australian flag. Shame on them.
Well, I guess I don't see it like that. I think what we understand that the flag is important. Whether it's and we have a number of flags that are important to all Australians, and we unite under all of them. What I'm disturbed about is that some people, and I'm not suggesting, and this is not actions in the Parliament, this is out on the streets, wish to bring and import into this country neo-Nazi politics, neo-Nazi division, and pretend that that is something that we should accept under the banner of the Australian flag, and it's not. That is not who Australia is. We are not a neo-Nazi nation, and we never will be. And those neo-Nazis should put down the flag and go home.
As should all those people at the Palestinian protest who flew the ISIS flag and burnt the Australian flag.
We're going to have to end it there. But Sarah, Kevin, as always, thank you.